Happy October.
Yeah, we're here.
We're in October. Shocktober. The time has come.
Season.
Yep. Take away those late summer movies, those rom-coms, those
Put them in the bonfire that all of you guys are having in your backyards while the air starts to get crisp outside.
the auteur cinema of PTA. That's all gone now, and now it's on to Scary Movie October.
I've never been able to do this live because the last one was just a normal new movie where I don't do our normal intro. But if you are
Oh yeah.
podcast, here it comes. Welcome to Franchise Addicts, the podcast all about franchise movies. My name is Luke.
And I'm Chris.
And today we are covering Sam Raimi's low budget student film turned horror sensation, The
Evil Dead. Crazy movie. Awesome.
Crazy movie. It's where it all began. I believe there are six entries, 5 entries, going to be 6 entries in the Evil Dead franchise.
Right.
Things happening in the the Evil Dead world. So these first 3 movies are the Sam Raimi specific ones.
Yeah.
So we have The Evil Dead, we have Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. I believe I've called it multiple times Heart of Darkness when we were talking about it either together or on the podcast. Heart of Darkness is the documentary made about Apocalypse Now.
Very different, very different. Also the name of most of the poems I write about myself. So anyways, moving on, it's Army of Darkness. So those are 3. Then we've got the remake. We've got 2 remakes, 5, one word for 6.
Yeah, and a past director on the last Evil Dead movie with the same director that gave us the last Alien movie.
Fede Alvarez will not be doing the Romulus sequel. But yeah, this was his first big thing, really. I mean, as far as I know. Yeah, I love those remakes, but we're not here to talk about those remakes.
No, where it all began, 1981. The Evil Dead. So Sam Raimi began working on this movie when he was 20 years old. I don't know exactly how many years he had worked on it before, but this is very young. That's why I called it a basically quote unquote student film. That ended up making it to theaters, making a decent amount. So this budget for this movie is kind of its calling card. This was a very, very cheap movie to make. It was about $375,000 to $400,000.
Yeah.
Was the budget for this. Raimi was asked to do a proof of concept to basically get that amount of money to get $400,000. So he put together a 30-minute short that was basically the idea. It was called Within the Woods. That was shown to people in 1978. And Raimi worked really close with the star of this movie, Bruce Campbell, who plays Ash. And they were friends in college, friends in film school, one acting, one on the camera side, and they teamed up to put this together.
Yeah, very cool story too, and especially because Sam Raimi, of course, goes on to be have quite the illustrious career with all the Spider-Mans, the Drag Me to Hells, any other Sam Raimi joints you want to spout off?
Oh,
The
Spider-Man movies for me, people of my age, those early 2000s Spider-Man movies were kind of like where Marvel started taking over the movie universe. And like we had never seen movies like that. We had never seen superheroes do that. Spider-Man going through the city, like no one had ever done that before. And it kind of makes sense that Sam Raimi, who starts off as kind of a author, writer, director, very creative with how he uses the camera, that he's the guy with the Evil Dead camera that is so prominent in all of these films, that style of using the camera as a character. that he takes over those Spider-Man movies and essentially makes that web swinging the camera where you're swinging like Spider-Man, and no one had ever done that before. So this is a extremely creative and awesome filmmaker who I will say, like, I don't go out of my way to see Sam Raimi movies.
There's not a whole lot beside. I mean, there's the Evil Deads, there's the Spider-Mans. Do you know he did Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?
Which I
Not
enjoyed. Yeah, I like the Doctor Strange movies.
Yeah. So, anyways, but I mean, he definitely kept working. But yes, a big time director gets his start, and it seemed like it was such a labor of love. You know, just these film student kids doing what they wanted to do, making some crazy horror production, which they hadn't done before, right? That was like they had made some student films, but it was like almost like all the genres except horror had been explored. Uh, but then they got into it.
And this is kind of like the quintessential, or at least maybe it's not the first to do it, but it's the first that when we look back historically, the cabin in the woods type movie.
Yes, and it looks just like all the cabins in woods that will be in subsequent movies.
Well, and then literally the movie Cabin in the Woods by is that Joss Whedon that put that together, is literally just a meta analysis of all of the Cabin in the Wood type movies.
I swear that cabin looks exactly like the Evil Dead cabin.
I would imagine that that's what it is referencing, because that movie is just full of references. It's a great movie. Yeah, fantastic movie, but it is kind of like the hat on a hat for the Cabin in the Woods movies, which is what it was setting out to do in the first place.
Big twist on that one.
Huge.
So yeah,
Also,
a lot of
so yeah, but Chris, let's talk about because you're getting into it, kind of the behind the scenes. This was a very fraught set. This was a bunch of kids basically going in the woods, students putting together a movie on a super low budget that didn't quite know what they were doing, and it shows sometimes, but mostly it shows in the stories told behind the scenes.
Yeah, it also, I mean, you can tell it shows on the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, like this movie is very cheap. The scenes are like the effects are interesting and done with an interesting intent, I would say. And they're not bad, but you know, the acting is not great at parts. There's moments where the camera's out of focus, and you know, it's kind of, I mean, it's bad. It's one of the, I don't think they were not trying to make it bad on purpose. It kind of turns into a one, and I don't know if this is the first or whatever, but a funny on purpose bad horror movie.
Well, and it's really hard to talk about this movie, and I'm going to try as much as I can to not just compare it to Evil Dead 2. Mm-hmm. But spoiler for Evil Dead 2, Raimi basically remakes this movie and leans into the horror comedy.
Yeah, I've heard this. Not seen that one, but yeah, so that tone.
I will say that, like you're saying, I did laugh out loud at scenes in this movie that are supposed to be quote unquote scary.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, I mean, before we dive in, I was saying this or thinking this rather pretty early on, is this is like Terrifier 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like just really low budget, but really gross. But like, hey, look, there's a nail in this foot and it's going to bleed out. We're going to show it for like a minute. It's not going to look real, but it is going to be like, this is a disturbing thing I'm watching. Also, it's fake.
Yeah. And there's no like particular scenes that you'd be like, oh, I really like the scene when you're basically just describing a killing event or a murdering event, and you wouldn't like scenes bleed into scenes. It's basically just telling a linear story of destruction.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of just kind of running through the house.
Yeah, it's an, well, I suppose Terrifier happens over multiple days. This is an all in one night type of situation.
I think most I don't know. Most of Terrifier 1 is one night, I do believe. One night in that
Well,
it's a Terrifier back straight, all right?
Famously, I've only seen the last 10 minutes of Terrifier 1 to prep myself to watch T2.
T2. Yes, yes, yes.
The real T2.
Yeah, no, this, I mean, Terrifier 1 is a much lower budget and much more reminds me of this. Just like, they're trying to be gross, but it's like clearly like, no money. And because of that, it's funny-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, a lot like with Terrifier 2, where it leans into the horror comedy of it. Again, Evil Dead 2 does the same exact thing. And Evil Dead 2 is the iconic movie of this franchise.
Yeah.
But we are at the beginning here with Evil Dead 1. So they I believe both Raimi and Bruce Campbell are from Michigan. So they initially wanted to find a cabin in Michigan to shoot this at. And Michigan was like, yeah, we don't really care or really want you to do that. And so they ended up going to Tennessee. So that everything that happened within this movie literally happened on location at the cabin that they were allowed to shoot at. And that's where they set up production shop and basically just drove each other crazy for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Actors overworked, basically like leaving, and Raimi then had to get creative with getting friends to come out to fill scenes in where they're shooting only the back of their heads, or they're like so heavily in the ghoulish makeup that you can't tell that it's not the original actor anymore, not playing that person. So they really had to stitch this. A lot of the audio is done in post.
ADR.
Yep. So they basically were just getting shots and kind of throwing them together, and Raimi just being like, well, I guess we're making this movie on the back end.
Yeah. A lot of magic had to happen. I will say though, you can really see his talent, because even though it's so shoestring and everything, there's really good sensibility in some of the shots, even if they almost look stupid because of the production and everything, like the lingering outside of the house, stuff like that.
Yeah, so let's use that to jump into just an overall discussion of the film, and we'll begin at the beginning. Because I think that kind of cutting back and forth, the introduction of the Evil Dead camera, and then mixing in shots of like the characters that we're going to get to know, and then the force that this camera figure is going to enact on these people, like that whole setup in the first 5 minutes where it's showing the camera going through the woods. You don't really know what it's doing, but you're following along. Then you see the shot of the people in the car. You're starting to get to know them. And then all of a sudden that truck comes in, and you're like, well, why are they showing the truck? And why is it like hurtling towards something? And then you get the full culmination of, oh, this is that evil, or that camera force noise type thing that we see and hear must be trying to take these kids out already
Yeah.
with the truck.
Yeah, the tone of menace is apparent very early on.
Yeah. So yeah, the shaky camera, so the Evil Dead camera was literally just a camera strapped to a 2x4 that they would then put on, like they would have tracks and would put it on a thing that could run on the tracks and basically just like manually run it. But that's why it's doing all the bouncing and the shaking and stuff like that. They're literally just strapping a camera to a 2x4.
That's interesting. It's really effective too, like the when it goes through the woods and everything. It's very unique.
Yeah, and it becomes the kind of iconic style because the bad guy in this movie is just evil. Like
Yeah, just,
it's like
evil.
there is like some lore to it. Like you got the guy on the tape recording that is kind of explaining, but not really.
He gets into a little something. It's a little, and he just starts reciting something in a different language. It's the Necronomicon, right? All kinds of weird toys in that place, bone stuff everywhere, and it's all, you just awaken evil. You awaken evil, evil comes around, it's bad, it possesses people. Once they're possessed, oh my god, they look weird. Their hair is gray, which is kind of an odd little thing that
They all turn
didn't
into old
explain.
women.
Yeah, they do turn into old women. Very crazy sounds, and that just happens. It's just there's not a lot to it, as you were saying. It's kind of just like, yep, this happens. Watch out. I think they do get a little more well versed in that as the movies go on. This one,
Yeah, and there's more of a story to it. There's more character development. I mean, it's attempted in this movie. It's you're I would qualify them as the more boring parts of the film, like when Ash is talking to his girlfriend Linda, and giving her the necklace and stuff like that. But like it starts off like many of these movies do, where the group gets there, it seems pretty spooky. The girls are kind of like, oh no, this is way crazier than we thought it would be. And you got the one dude that's driving, Scotty, and he's the guy that set this up. He's the one that made the reservation at the cabin or whatever. He knows where the keys are. They get in, spooky basement. Well, someone's got to go down there. So Scotty goes down, and then your first scare has to be a trick. It has to set up that you're an asshole that is like willing to play the game, like these types of games. And if you're going to play the type of games where you're trying to scare people on purpose, you will be affected by the evil.
you're showing yourself as an asshole, a macho bully like asshole. Easy to kill that person, and so he does.
Yeah, so he goes down, Scotty goes down, and then Ash follows, and that's where we get kind of our gadgets and stuff that are going to arise the evil spirits, the Necronomicons down there. Obviously, got to flip that thing open and check it out, even though it's made out of human skin, the book cover, and it's
Very weird looking book. Yeah.
yeah, and you definitely open it and like something you shouldn't be reading type of thing.
Yeah, a lot of questionable drawings.
Yeah, like when I opened up the vagina monologues and I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Whoa!
Was
Have
it
you read those?
no, I actually have no idea what it is about or what it was for. But I love that happened and that he did it.
Yeah, I think it's just female stories.
Yeah,
In any event.
it was the first joke that came to my head.
All right. Well, opening up the Necronomicon, evil stuff starts to happen. Take us.
Yeah, I mean, you get the tape recording where we get a little bit of it's like some scientist or researcher and his wife that had stayed in the cabin, and the researcher starting to realize that bad stuff is happening around him. People are, not acting normal, all that sort of stuff. Kind of the precursor to what we're going to see happen with our friends here at the cabin.
Yeah.
And so, it's weird, but nothing crazy has happened quite yet. And then we kind of have a night with the crew as they're settling down. There's the shot outside the cabin as we go from room to room and kind of see what people are doing. Ash and Linda, boyfriend, girlfriend, hanging out. And then
I like those. I like those scenes. Those
Scott
cameras.
and Shelly, I believe, are a couple. And then Cheryl, there's one line of dialogue that indicates she's Ash's sister. So she's
That one in there. I didn't
think these two couples, or is that fifth wheeling? If you're the fifth in a two couple situation.
Yeah, that's got to be a fifth wheel situation.
So she's hanging out, and Cheryl doesn't have a great night to begin with. So we got to get to the most controversial part of this movie because it happens pretty early on within the first 20 minutes. And it is something that I will set up with this in mind. Sam Raimi deeply regrets this and changed it in Evil Dead 2 and says that it was a mistake. It is a mistake. And he is very sorry that he depicted it in this way. But Cheryl goes out into the woods, hearing crazy voices and stuff like that, and gets raped by a tree.
Yes, and it's fairly obvious what's happening.
Oh, it's so ridiculously.
Yeah. It's obvious.
We don't have to get into the details of how obvious it is, but like it is clearly what it is depicting, and it is the fear element of the situation for Cheryl.
Yeah. That's a rough one. One fact about that's I thought that was interesting that has nothing to do with the actual content, but the way that they put the vines on her was they shot it backwards, right?
Oh, that I
So
don't.
they just wrapped them around her, but then yeah, reversed it so it looked like they were going up, not being taken off. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I believe. Yeah, I believe the actress involved wasn't super comfortable with it either, so that kind of adds to the nastiness of it all. Like I said, Raimi, as pointed out, he was an idiot college age kid, and you did correct it in Evil Dead 2. There is a similar tree attack, but there is like the rape implement of it is not.
This tree gets consent, so
That's not what happens. It just attacks her.
yeah, more general attack. Yeah.
But this
Yeah,
is
that
kind of our big like opening to the evil spirit too, which is kind of the crazy element of it that like the first time we see the evil really start attacking the people, our main characters,
yeah.
is this situation. So I could definitely see, sorry, I'm swatting at a fly that no one else can see. Um uh I would imagine that there are people that watch this movie, get to that scene and go, fuck this.
Question, do you think the movie would have been successful if that had never been in it?
Yeah.
Or is like even though it's like obviously it's horrible, but was there an element of like you're never gonna believe this? And it like
Yeah.
just like anything that like secretly like because this was a lot of VHS, passed around like kind of
So
you wonder.
sure.
Yeah, really.
This movie was banned in the United Kingdom and
Isn't it?
it had an NC-17 rating. Still has an
Yeah.
NC-17 rating. And so this like when it came out on VHS and DVD, like this was the hot like underground like, oh dude, you got to check out The Evil Dead. And you're not even if you're in England, you're not even allowed to.
Yeah, this is straight up contraband. But I mean, that's such a big seller, I mean, lived through the Marilyn Manson phase and all that stuff, where it's just like, this is so wrong.
Tipper Gore, wasn't it Tipper Gore that won it?
Gore,
The
she really gave it to Naughty by Nature. And but anyways, I'm just saying that like stuff that's like really, you get these rumors of how bad it is and how evil it is. Obviously, you're drawn to be like, oh, I'm curious about what the hell this is, even if it's horrible.
So we could move on from the tree scene.
Move on.
We've done enough of that. So we get back into the cabin. Cheryl comes screaming back in. Things are not good. She eventually becomes the first possessed person. So she gets like levitated in the middle of the room, turns into the ghoulish type evil figure, starts saying crazy shit. It's basically like oh my god. What is the movie with where they're trying to get the evil spirit out of the little girl?
Exorcist?
The Exorcist. It's basically
Yeah,
Exorcist ripoff.
and The Exorcist came out before this.
Yeah, in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, once the demon stuff starts to happen, there's nothing that's too crazy, or like too groundbreaking as far as I mean, the effects are interesting, right? Like, do you have any idea how they made those groanings of the?
That was all post. All done in post.
Well, for sure, but like that's like even how they created it is a cool, weird sound.
Yeah, all I've got on that is basically that it was all done in post and that they specifically just had audio people create those noises and then added them in to add the effects.
It's cool too because you can tell it's like analog something
Well,
probably. Because
so one of the scenes where I was just like dying laughing was I think it's a Cheryl scream that goes on for like 2 minutes as like the demon where she's just like
that happened. There's stuff that's drawn out a bit too long.
why is this going on so long?
Now you could look at it and be like, "That's just stupid. That seems like a mistake," or
Like it's literally Raimi just adding something interesting to like shots that he's like, I need to add more to this. Like I didn't get anything.
it's very strange, and I think you have to go along for the ride of like this is just fucked up and won't always make sense in its cheap, crazy punk rock art.
Yeah. If you
You
did
know,
the bare minimum of like audio work on this movie and just used what was shot, this movie would suck. Like they put a ton of work into that back.
yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
yeah, and I could say, I mean, on some levels, well, whatever. We're on some levels, it does suck. There are aspects of it that does, yeah. Like, it's not like, oh my goodness, this is great cinema. It's like a really fun, creative, bonkers experiment, you know? But anyways, okay, so I mean, what do you want to get into now with this?
Any particular kills that stood out? Because we're kind of just in the murder phase. I wanted to point out a couple of the, you know, I would think are new attempts at depicting horror through film, like shots, like going back to when Cheryl gets put in the basement and she's kind of pushing up on the cellar door,
Yeah,
and the camera is literally from her perspective looking out at like Bruce Campbell and them discussing what to do.
yeah.
So it, kind of that element of what's that movie that came out in January where the camera is the ghost and you're seeing it from the ghost perspective.
The Soderbergh movie called, oh gosh, it's
Here following here.
or it's like a P word, I feel like. Premonition.
It's kind of like that early idea, it goes along hand in hand with, the Evil Dead camera of it all, but like, shooting from the perspective of the monster,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff that,
I
probably
mean, that's Jaws, man. That's fucking Jaws. Presence.
present.
Yeah. But no, I mean, and they're doing that, right? They're doing that. It's just like now let's take some really cool tricks that have worked in more professional or different settings and let's just fucking ham it up. Let's put it on this cheap ass movie with oatmeal and shit coming out of people's arms forever, like to the point where it's like this doesn't even make sense. But
Well, and the like, there's a great shot at near the end when Ash is, kind of taking everybody out, and he beheads Linda, and the blood literally waits to splurt onto his face until like the camera is perfectly set up and like timed right, and then it just and you're like,
yeah,
like only in a movie would like you think the blood should work that way, but you don't even think about it like when you're watching it. Like only in retrospect do I think back and go like, well, obviously that would be like bleeding immediately all over him. But it's like it just is, you're so into like this is just goofy movie making horror shit. So of course like the body has to be perfectly laying on him. You see the decapitation and then the blood splurts.
sure. Yeah, I mean, the effects, especially as it goes on. Yeah, we're not talking realism. It's just like when the light bulbs fill up with blood, all blood comes out of all. It's just like, yeah, all kinds of crazy shit's gonna happen here, you know?
Well, I like the where I think it's I'm gonna get, because they all eventually look the same. But they're coming at him at Ash with a knife,
Yeah,
and he like partially cuts off the hand, and then the monster is like gnawing it to get
yeah. That's nasty. That's nasty. Like that's effective, you know? Yeah, for sure. Um, all right, so do you want to talk for 2 seconds about what's going on next week? Because I just have to use the restroom super quickly.
Yeah,
And we're live, so this is how we're gonna do this, people. You know?
it's great. I'll fill you guys in with some more fun facts.
All right.
So yeah, next week we're going to be covering Evil Dead 2. It'll be at the same time, Tuesday around 8 p.m. Central Time. We have a great guest that's going to be coming on. He was one of the other co-hosts or panelists on the MCU podcast that I was on YouTube. So he's going to be coming on and talking Evil Dead 2 with us. Evil Dead 2, again, essentially a remake of the Evil Dead. Raimi gets a lot bigger budget, leans more into the comedy elements of the movie, but essentially from just a plot standpoint, it is just a group of kids go into a cabin in the woods and find the Necronomicon, and Ashes, our main guy that we want to survive. Evil Dead 2 is where the iconic chainsaw strapped to Ash's arm comes from. So that is not in this movie. He does have the chainsaw at one point in this movie, where I think it's the second time that he debates just killing Linda outright, but then he can't do it because she'll turn human again and kind of trick him. So some other stuff that I've either teased from just like a trivia kind of standpoint. So they shot it in Tennessee. They didn't want to shoot it in Michigan. The primary blood that they used was the normal Caro syrup and red food coloring. Apparently they used so much of it on one of the particular shots that Bruce Campbell's clothes were crusty, and he broke it the next time that he tried to put that shirt on for a scene when that he needed it. So yeah, they were just pouring syrup on these guys. The stop motion finale, so where everything's kind of melting down at the end of the movie, with the bones, the sinew, and all the rot. It was a hybrid of live action and stop motion that an FX artist named Tom Sullivan engineered, with split screens and puppets. And it's kind of the part of the movie that doesn't fit with the rest just from a stylistic standpoint, and that's because Raimi essentially gave that to Tom, and he came up with that kind of conclusion to the monster kind of going away after the Necronomicon gets burned.
Are you talking about the weird effects at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were like a crazy like art project was happening. That was wild.
So yeah, Tom Sullivan is the guy that Raimi brought on to do all that.
Very cool.
So this movie also premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in 1982 and got a blurb from a very famous horror writer that said it was the most ferociously original horror film of 1982. Who do you think that horror writer was, Chris?
Let me think here. Was it Orson Welles?
It was.
Oh,
Steve passed away by 1982. Maybe not.
Stephen King.
Yes.
I know the story as well.
The only horror writer whose opinion matters when it comes to the Hollywoods, Stephen King.
That's right.
But yeah, he thought it was a pretty rad movie, and
that's really cool what he did. He like really went to town for it. He wrote a review for it in a magazine. He like fucking just, what would the kids say? They glossed the hell out of it. Yeah, I'll think of the slang that I can't think of in a moment. But he was just really very. Yes, he was very, very. He spoke very highly of it. He glazed it. He was glazing it. That's the word.
Yes. The glaze. I wonder what that's referring to. Is it?
Look at the donuts, baby.
Man, I had a point. Oh, so I was gonna say, I don't think we talked about the budget of the film being around $400,000. Box office. So it made 2.4 million domestically when it eventually hit theaters. It made 27 million overseas for around 30 million for a $400,000 movie.
I think that's pretty good.
That's really, really good. I mean, it's not Blair Witch Project, but it's very good.
It's close, right? I mean, it's still.
Well, does Blair Witch owe gratitude to the Evil Dead?
It does. Also, I like whatever the budget they say for that. I don't know. I wouldn't trust it.
Well, it's also $400,000 in 1982 dollars, which I'm sure with inflation's like close to $1 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Yeah, but I think, as far as the I don't know, the kind of low budget, kind of shitty on purpose, VHS based horror was maybe born with this, or maybe not born with it, but it was VHS was coming into fashion right around this time. So it was like the perfect storm.
And
What?
it gets the bans in certain countries. It gets
Yeah.
an 17 rating. Like it's hot on the streets.
No press is or bad press is still press. It's still good press.
And it's getting noticed at Cannes and stuff like that. So
And brilliant.
I made 27 million internationally.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just funny to think of it screening. It can. But so, it's
It's
a great.
screen today at Cannes, and people would be like, "Hell yeah!"
Well, yeah, because of the history of it.
No, I'm saying like a movie. If someone had an idea similar to this that was kind of revolutionary, but it was done at such a minuscule budget,
Oh
but
yeah.
people at Cannes watched it and were like, "Oh yeah, I can see like the bones of this, and like this is actually like art, and not
Sure.
cheap schlock." Like it would get buzz even today.
Here's a question. Is it art or is it cheap schlock? Or is it both?
I think it is cheap schlock that we now refer to as art because it has stood the test of time.
Yep. I mean, and even cheap schlock can have creative elements to it.
Yeah,
I mean, it can look shitty and it can have bad, all the things that we've already talked about, but there's something to it. It's not just like everything sucks.
to it that we as viewers can latch onto. We're like, I get this.
Yeah.
Scary Cabin, Woods, Evil Book, Bad Spirits, not good.
And then you start to just really get, the interesting kills, right? Like the pencil in the foot. That was a great one. And again,
All the clawing, like there's Ash at the end, it's his ankle
which
all clawed up.
sometimes it's faker than other times as far as the appearance, but and then they stay with the scenes too for a long time, with that like pencils, like they show that for a good 30 seconds, just Nash dragging.
There are not a lot of quick gross stuff. They make you bear it.
And I think because it looks so, like, this is how I felt about Terrifier, and even as those movies have gone on, they still make it pretty fake. If you make it look fake, it's not as bad.
Oh yeah.
Right, like, and so maybe that was that another time that we kind of learned this on a big level. I mean, because I don't know, like, what was the state of cheap, shitty looking horror movies before 1980? Like, I don't know. I would need to talk.
Yeah, I'm sure like maybe Children of the Corn, like something along that line. Like The Exorcist, I think cost a decent amount of money. It was a big Hollywood hit. Like
Yeah.
it made, 200-300 million dollars or whatever when it came out. So like
Sure.
there was prestige horror already established, and I'm sure there was, cheap schlock also
Probably.
along in there. But again, like I said, this ends up standing the test of time. So it's why we're having a podcast about it. It's about why 4 other movies in its universe were made. Because there is just something about this movie, this setup, this premise, this formula, the way it's shot, the ideas in it that has captured people's attention.
Yeah, it's a cultural phenomenon, and you think, yeah. So
yeah, we've talked about the man behind the camera, Sam Raimi, and a little bit about our main star for these 3 movies, Bruce Campbell. What did you think of your guy, Bruce Campbell? Ash Lee.
he was all right. He had a really funny, like, Three Stooges haircut to start the movie off in that car, and I think he's fine. I don't think any of them are like the best actors ever, but
Yeah,
I mean, he's clearly young.
the other 4 people don't carry on. Like we are gonna have to watch Bruce Campbell in this movie, the second.
Yeah, so he's fine. I like, I think he does, as someone that clearly like doesn't have a lot of experience, he gives it his all, and that's admirable. And
Also executive producing all the movies.
Yeah. There was even he had like a TV show on some fucking network that was related to this. Ash versus Evil Dead. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I would say that Bruce Campbell, after you watch his performance in Evil Dead 2, probably will wish he had some of the scenes back in this particular movie. I think, like Chris said, I think all the actors in this are not professionals.
Mm.
I think Bruce Campbell is interesting because he gets better and better as the movies go on, and he starts to find, just like Evil Dead leans more into the comedy, Campbell being able to lean more into the cheesiness, into like really grinning and gritting through the horror. Like he starts, Evil Dead 2 is basically him just cheesing into the camera the entire movie. Like he is just going for it. He knows exactly what Raimi wants and he just gives it.
Good. Well, I mean, I look forward to seeing it. We'll see. I mean, that's always a nice cheat code. If like I'm not very good at acting, well, maybe that's your whole thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like Denzel Washington.
Oh my gosh.
Late period Denzel.
Yeah, late period. No,
I'm just gonna give you the King Kong. Everyone just, ever since Trading Day, they just want me to King Kong on them. So
yeah, that little Al Pacino just wants them to hooah on them. Yeah, that happened. Chris Walken just wants to play on them, right?
we were the people that gave him an Oscar for the hoo-ah. So we
Yeah,
just,
it's our fault, you know.
we would give it to him for The Godfather, but we're like,
This he yells. Once he yells, I like it. Yeah, when he's just deranged.
flamethrower.
Yeah, that's an exciting performance. So, yeah, you know, that's
The most batshit crazy performance I've ever seen on film.
yeah. But we were falling. We fell for it back then. Chris O'Donnell, the '90s.
Batman and Robin, Chris, do you remember? Good
Man,
old days.
what about if Al Pacino from Scent of a Woman was Batman?
He would be Daredevil though, because he'd be blind.
He kind of blind, yeah. But I think that would, yeah. You know who I am? I'm Batman. Watch where you go.
He goes loud to soft in Son of a Woman so often, and he'll go full like low Pacino for like a couple sentences too. And it's really, really good when he's given, like, when he's really getting into it with Chris O'Donnell. He'll start up here and then he comes down.
I gotta go now.
And he's gonna tell you what's going on. Yeah. You think you had a tough life, kid? I watched my entire platoon die in front of my face.
Pretty scary. So I'm gonna shoot myself right now. Right now. Man, I fucking love
Pacino. But yeah, Bruce Campbell, he gets a I mentioned this while you're in the bathroom. I mentioned that Evil Dead 2 is where he gets the iconic chainsaw strapped to his arm as a weapon.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And it's
Which
dope as hell.
then Robert Rodriguez did it in Grind in Planet Terror with
Shotgun leg.
yeah, with
Hobo with a shotgun.
what?
Hobo with a shotgun.
No, I'm aware of the title, but that's it.
It was one of those, like, it was post that Tarantino film, and it was like a grindhouse type thing. It's literally the grossest movie I've ever watched. It's worse than Terrifier in my opinion.
Okay, well, I won't run out to see that, but Hobo with a Shotgun, if you're into sick shit, check it out. You wouldn't, yeah, okay. So sick movies, Bruce Campbell, the acting, let's see. The score is interesting. I'm just like I wrote down some notes.
I kind of dug the score. I mean, it kind of sounds like free music that they sampled, but
Could be.
it's not bad.
Yeah, it has some interesting turns. I mean, and I think, the effects, because they go for it so much, work. It's the confidence I think that he has to be like, I'm gonna show this, I'm gonna show it, and we're like, they're committing to the bit of the crazy gore that's just like, oatmeal or whatever. And I think I think that's important because if a lot of movies and even Jaws, right? Like we were told, hide the monster, or like the less they see, the better, right? And this is following the exact opposite school of thought, a la Terrifier in later years of just like show it all. And again,
Well,
like,
literally the opening shot of the movie, you don't realize it at the time, but is the monster.
yeah,
Like the camera going through the woods, it
yeah, yeah.
monster.
Yeah, and that's again really cool. Like, and just cheap, creative-ish, and I don't know. That's where the specialness of this comes into play. Yeah, the scream noise is very, very interesting. Um, yeah. So that those are some of my initial thoughts right here. It's very interesting. A lot of things hit at the right time. The VHS aspect, and I think this really did. This is a huge. I mean, this isn't a shocking thing to say, but this is a huge, important, bullet point in the life of the horror genre, right? If it's like really establishing this cheap gonzo type of thing as not only something that exists, but something that's commercially viable and something that's accepted by the mainstream. That is something that I don't know that had happened that much before, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, like we've said, it made its own lane. It's not the teen slasher. Um, Even though there are teens in it, it is not a full possession movie, even though possession does occur.
Yeah.
It's not a monster movie, even though there are monstrous characters in it. So like it kind of is its own thing, that obviously will be replicated over and over and over again. But there's just something about it, and it just works. The formula works.
Yeah. Um, really cool stuff.
So is your first time seeing this
I
particular?
think no, well, I think there was one time that I saw this, and I believe it was one, not two, a decent amount of, like, let's say 10, 12 years ago. Because I do have a recollection that I watched something that I saw the remake of the 2019 remake, the Fede Alvarez first one, in theaters. As did I see the second remake, Evil Dead Rise, in theaters. But I had seen the story before. Like I remembered the cheaper version. So I think I've maybe seen it once.
Yeah. So I've seen it about 4 times.
Okay.
I really dig this movie. Even compared to Evil Dead 2, I usually watch them back to back. I didn't in this particular instance, but they're only like an hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a quick short watch. Kind of my standard for horror. I don't like longer horror movies, and this one gets to it and sticks with it.
It's in and out. Yeah, it's an integral piece of horror history, and I'm excited to explore the rest of this.
Performance, scene, and MVP. This should be pretty easy.
I'm gonna give my performance to the girl that is left there for the longest time with the blonde, like Susie Q, ponytail. I don't know, just she's crazy. Like some of these demons that are just going on and on and on. I didn't want to give it to Bruce Campbell. Well, here, let's see here. I should really look this up. And
Is it by the girl that meets the tree?
no, I believe.
Or is it Ash's girlfriend, Linda?
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Well, Linda is the one with like the clown makeup when she turns into the demon. That's she
Yes, yeah,
sitting there doing the like.
yes. I mean, and it's kind of awful, but it's also hilarious, and it is super spooky. And I don't know, like if anyone's doing anything that's kind of effective.
You can almost see like Bruce Campbell getting pissed off on set, just being like, "Fucking shut up!"
So, which I mean, I had that thought too. Like, wow, it's so fucking annoying. But yeah, I mean, she's just really going for it. So I'm gonna give it to my girl Linda, who is, of course, let me just see here. Do you have, let's the plot, the cast is course, Betsy Baker is who I'm talking.
Yes, Betsy Baker. Let's see if I find. Nope. All right, I'm not gonna be able to find it. I was gonna pick the voice of the guy over the tape. I think he's gonna be reading voice.
Bob Dorian. Yeah,
There you
you get
go.
Professor as Professor Noby's voice. There you go.
There you go. That is my performance of the movie. That guy fucking killed it. It is both spooky and informative.
And it does seem like one of the only performances where you're like, he's acted before.
Oh, for sure. And
As opposed to others where you're like, are you just like, is this the.
he can pronounce a fake language.
Yeah, that was a good one. Um,
Scene.
Scene. Oh gosh. I will. What?
Or you can pick a kill. There's scenes.
I'll go with the pencil. I don't know. The pencil in the foot kill. I mean, it's like the kill. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. Or it would be like the really weird ending. That's the thing. Like this movie, I mean, there's the scene we talked about, but a lot of it is just like, yeah, there's one. Now they're in this killing situation, and now they're in this killing situation, and there's not a lot of like, oh, that time at the well. Like it's kind of just ongoing, and there's different variations of like what's happening in the cabin fight. So that's where I'll go with that. How about you?
I'm gonna cheat again, and I'm gonna pick every scene or every situation where Ash decides not to kill Linda because she turns back into her normal self, and he talks himself out of it again. He does it with I think he's got an axe the first time, he's got a chainsaw another time, and then he finally chops her head off at the end.
Yep. That's a good call. It looked at that. It looks at that little mirror necklace or whatever the fuck.
I mean, I, I'm gonna walk as delicately around this thing that I found comical. That's not comical. Don't hit women. But there were a couple of situations where Ash, he's got to tee off on Linda because she's a demon and is coming to kill him. And I was just wondering if, as the character, if he's like, fucking finally, bam, and she's fucking backhands the shit out of her.
I hope not.
But it's it's very funny, the kind of turmoil that Ash gets put into with having a significant other be the thing that's coming after and killing him, because he has those situations too. And that's the other part of the movie too, is that like it's literally his friends that are turning on him and trying to take him down.
Yep. And that's true. It is. They quickly turn into like stupid ass looking demons.
Yeah, and like Ash basically thinks throughout the entire movie that as long as they can make it till the sun comes up, that everything will go back to normal.
Right. He's right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my scenes. MVP.
I'm going to go with I mean, I'll do the makeup person. Because I think that it's really interesting, creative, gross, effective, and they had to do a lot of this under a lot of really bad circumstances. I mean, I think it kind of makes it. If you did not have those effects done in that way, this movie wouldn't be the way it is. So
Yeah, and so I'll give it to, I would assume, Raimi, and then whoever he hired to help him with all the audio and stuff in post, because that's really what makes the film special. All the over exaggerated creaking and groaning, all the over exaggerated screaming, all that shit, like literally to take simple film shots, obviously with the shaky cam and all that shit, but like relatively simple shots like on a set location, and you add all this extra stuff in post that like really brings it to life.
Yes, it could have looked. It would have been.
Yeah, it could
There's
have
a
looked
lot.
and sounded horrible. Like they didn't have the equipment to capture audio really well on, literally filming in a cabin. I also want to mention that I love how the cabin like shrinks and grows based on what is necessary for the film. So like if we need Ash to run a long distance through the house, like the cabin seems to be huge and has all these interconnected rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When it has to shrink down and all of the demons are in the same room with Ash, like it literally looks like a one room cabin.
It's convenient how that happens.
Yeah, magic of movies.
The magic of movies. Um, yeah, that's that. Those are good. That's a good MVP.
All right. Rating out of 10.
I'm gonna give it um an 8.1 because of its importance. I don't think it's honestly like the best movie. It's like fun, and because of its yeah, I'll keep it there for respect. I was thinking of 7 point something, but let's do that.
RESPECT, find out what it means to me. I was pre-planning this. I knew the score I was going to give it. I am surprised that you ended up going to the 181, but in our normal circumstance, you did rate it higher. I think this is the most 7.5 movie of all time.
Yeah, okay. I want to lower mine to 7.7. All right. I gotta lower, yeah, 7.7. It can't be.
Right. It gets the boost for like it's historic. It's defines a certain genre of horror, a subgenre of horror, and it's just you we will all see together with Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is the movie Raimi wanted to make, so I can't be like, well, the one you made for $400,000 that you essentially remade into something even better. Like I'm gonna give that a pretty high rate. Like, no, I'm gonna give it the standard. Like this is a above average film that everyone should see if they're interested, but it's not like 8 special.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I think that's a good call. It started something great, and we're gonna continue with that next week. Evil Dead 2. Don't miss it. Um,
Oh, and then are you gonna add a slight tease because I know the guest for the third movie of this sub part of the franchise. We are having our boy, everyone's favorite guest, Sam, is coming on the podcast for Army of Darkness.
hell yeah.
He also wants to talk a little Drag Me to Hell. If you've seen the film, Chris,
I saw it a long time ago, and I should rewatch.
and to see if it connects at all into the Evil Dead universe. It is not listed as a part of the franchise, but because it's Sam Raimi, because it's Drag Me to Hell, can we find connections? I will plan to watch that along with Army of Darkness, and we'll have our buddy Sam on, and that's going to be a good time. Evil Dead 2, I will let you know as soon as I pull everything up just so that I get everything right. We are having, I believe his handle on YouTube is Andres, the pop culture guy. But he was on, again, I mentioned this when Chris was away, but he was on the forum with me when we were talking Peacemaker. So he's going to come on and talk Evil Dead 2 with us. He's an awesome guy, very insightful when it comes to films and TV shows, and give us an opportunity to talk to somebody that's not mine or Chris's immediate friend.
We're excited about it. We hope you are too. Come join the live chat if you want to. This has been a nice addition, so we're excited to keep doing it. Thanks a lot, Luke.
Thanks, Chris.